We good to go?
Yes.
All right. So, hello, good morning or afternoon if you are, I don't know, on a different continent where it's already like afternoon.
It's like wee hours of the morning there.
I am Melissa McCommon, a professional freelance illustrator of a decade as of this year.
My name is Svetlana, and I am a children's book author of 20 decades. What? No, 20 years and 2 decades. There we go.
20 decades. I knew you were immortal.
Yes, that looked really good. This panel is about the inner workings of being a commercial artist. Oops.
You know, it would be extra smart if I actually brought up the slideshow on this computer.
Oh, so we can share.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, slides.
Just a moment, technical difficulties. But this panel is called The Inner Workings of Being a Commercial Artist. And this, we worked really hard on this presentation, so we hope you like it and find it very informative. It's a very complicated idea of what being a commercial artist is.
And we're going to try to squish it into an hour.
Squish it into an hour, and hopefully people come away with an understanding that is beneficial to them specifically, because it's such an individual thing. I actually wanted to call this panel How to Build a Fulfilling Career of Being an Artist, because different people are fulfilled by different things. And speaking as an artist who is full-time, it was very different when this was part-time for me, and I got breaks from art. Because once you become a full-time artist, there's no break from art. And some people find it difficult because what used to be enjoyable is now, well, it's a 9 to 5, I got to go do it. It's not everybody's cut out for that. So you'll have to figure out in the end what works for you. Some people are very fulfilled by, a 9 to 5 in an office, and then they do art in the evenings or on the weekends. And that way they can balance where the art part is still a very much enjoyable gig for them. So different things work for different people. We'll talk.
So step one, don't.
Oh, okay. Did we skip the slide?
Oh, we'll figure this out.
We'll figure this out. Can they still see us?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
There's like a little box someplace.
Okay. I don't see the chat window anymore, so.
Oh, that's because I easily.
Okay, I mean, we don't need to see it, it's fine. So what does it mean being a commercial artist? You draw art and people pay you for it. That's really the base definition as I understand it. How do I commercial artist? You create art and get people to pay you for it.
That's the hard part.
Well, I mean, yeah, how do you make art? Everybody has their own way. We'll talk about that. How do I get paid? Everybody has their own way. We'll talk about that too. But the key is to get paid for your art. And what are some tips on making it work? That is what we'll cover in this presentation. So
it is doable.
It is doable. Being a commercial artist. Don't do it. It's really hard. Crying face. It is a very stressful way to make a living. I'll say that right off the bat. There's a lot of, follow your dreams.
Oh, you don't want to this list?
Oh, I thought there was more. Oh, I'm so confused. So anyway, yeah. Being an artist does this to you too. I used to be sharp as a tack, and now I can't tell which slide I'm on in the presentation.
What also doesn't help that all the slides look the same.
I'm pretty sure it's me. But thank you for trying. So some hard realities of being a working artist is job flow is usually on a gig by gig basis, so it's very inconsistent. You don't know when the next one's going to come. Sometimes you'll get 5 job offers in one day, and you'll be like, I can only do one. There's only one of me.
And then you have to send the very difficult email of, I can't accept your work right now.
Which is hard. You say no to money. It's difficult, but you also have to portion your energy realistically.
You cannot stretch yourself
one of big rookie mistakes is saying yes to too many things at once. So inconsistent job flow, you'll get an avalanche of offers 1 week, and then maybe there'll be a dry spell for a couple of months. Difficult clients. We have some stories. Maybe we should save those for the end.
If you want stories, I got stories.
Yeah, most cloud clients will be wonderful, but there will always be somebody who just doesn't understand how this works, or is like aggressively not wanting to understand how this works.
Yeah.
Entire field of the entertainment industry in general is incredibly susceptible to recession, which, as soon as a family is having money troubles due to a recession and a deflated job market, entertainment is usually one of the first budgets to get cut, which affects the entire field.
Pandemic was a great example of that.
That's right. It's been a rough time for anybody who.
Yeah, my really good friend is a theater technician, so she worked for different theater companies.
Down.
Yeah, they're still shut down. They're not. So she's still out of work, and that was a field that she had just gotten into, and she was doing really good with it, and then out of work instantly.
A lot of theater people are union, aren't they? So they actually have good support.
Yeah.
The next point we come to, artists don't have that kind of union support. So
some do. It's very
rare. It's not widespread. So majority, we're not talking about exceptions here. Exceptions are great and amazing, and it should be the norm, but it's not. The norm is no health insurance. You have to create that on your own, pay for that on your own, and usually you can't get a good rate because you're not part of a group.
Thank you, Affordable Care Act.
Yes, Affordable Care Act is incredible, and
it's how I have insurance.
Yeah, so pension plan, but it's so fragile because they almost gutted it several times, and but we won't talk about that here. This is one of the dangers that a freelance artist has to live with, is not having health insurance, which is crucial to having health.
PSA, don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote. Pension plan also, because you're a freelancer, nobody's taking care of that for you. Nobody, just you. And then there's the creative burdens and trials, like self-doubt, imposter syndrome. I just had an anxiety attack before doing this panel. I'm an internationally published author with over 500,000 books in print, and I still get imposter syndrome. And that's just something that comes and stays forever with you. Burnout, a lot of unrealistic deadlines, because sometimes you will say yes to 2 jobs at once like an idiot. And then what do? You get it done somehow. So burnout, you have to wear many hats, be it marketing, accounting, client hunting. That's all on you. So how do we make that work against all odds?
How have we not quit yet?
I don't know. It's all those malfunctioning brain cells in there. I can't.
I'm a glutton for punishment, so it's like as soon as the project is done, I'm like, wow, that was withering and painful. Let's do it again. Let's go.
No, that's not me. No, I like sleep and I like food and like sitting on the couch. So, you switched it. I'm like,
you told me to switch it.
Don't be an artist, folks. So how do we combat these woes is having a plan really helps. So doing research, like going to panels like this.
Keep track of everything. I bullet journal, and that has made my organization so much easier because it's all there. So journaling of any kind will help you keep track of all the information. You can quickly jot down notes. And
good organizational apps too.
Yes.
And a lot of them are free.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately one of those people, if I write it down, I remember it way better than if I type it. If I type it, it's going to get filed away and I'm going to forget about it.
I have to be close notes everywhere.
Alarms
Find
are
out
great too.
alarms. Yeah, find out what works for you.
Yes.
So, and the other part of making it work is maybe you will feel more stable and prepared to run the gauntlet of making art for money. Is if you have a 9 to 5, and maybe your art job is something that's in your free hours, and fulfill that need that way. Make sure to save for a dry season of job hunting, because it will come. It will always be sudden and unexpected, and you'll need to have that emergency fund. Educating yourself, researching online resources. Melissa, do you want to talk about the Graphic Artists Guild?
Yes. So the Graphics Artists Guild is I actually have the book. Well, one of the books. So oh, this is not the book that I was thinking of, but this is important too. This is for a bunch of legal form stuff like that. But the Graphic Artists Guild book gives you all of it. It is the Bibli of graphic artists. That includes illustrators, graphic designers, anybody that does freelance work. It gives you a breakdown of what you should do for taxes, lawyers or contracts and agreements or anything like that. It's everything that you need to know for
every
being a
question you
freelancer.
have.
Yes.
And don't know you should have, it will be in that book. So it's highly recommended.
Yes. And I believe the Graphic Artists Guild, last I heard, this was back in college, they actually were working with a union, like a graphic artist union.
Oh, great. Okay.
So there are unions out there. They're just a little bit more like,
yeah, they need to be commonplace. They need to be the norm. Unions
yes.
need to be the norm, because that's how workers get taken care of.
There's an animation union.
That's good.
Yes.
All right. And yeah, getting an agent is it's good. It's good. An agent will take a cut of every job that you take, and no agent will charge up front. Like, that's a bad agent. Do not sign with them. An agent is somebody who gets you jobs, and then they take a slice off the top. And it takes a lot off of your plate. A lot of agents are actually lawyers, so they're they will do contract negotiation for you. Also, they know how much you should get paid.
I did not know that. I might need to look into getting an agent.
So having these illustration agents who mainly work with illustrators and find them illustrating gigs for books, magazines, and they have a lot of connections with editors too. They do. So if you can get signed on, agents sign you on the strength of your portfolio. They don't care, where you went to school. Nobody does, frankly. We'll talk about that later. Nobody cares where you went to school. All they want to know is, can you draw?
Can you meet deadlines?
Yes. Yes, deadlines are very good, but if you can draw, people will like take your door off the hinges.
Okay.
To get to you. They will like. Anyway, deadlines are very important, but deadline missing is this whole other chapter in the entertainment industry. As well, you know how many movies got delayed? Deadline missing happens. So that's I don't know if we should talk about it here, but it is important to meet deadlines. That's how you build a career at first. Like, if you miss deadlines, like immediately, like if you betray a production manager with missing a deadlines without even telling them, you are dead to them. So don't do that.
Open communication.
Open communication, absolutely, because stuff happens. But anyway, yeah. So agent, strength of your portfolio. You can send queries, and you'll that's how you get signed on. You send queries. Can I send you samples? Here's my website. So yeah, next slide, please. Do I have to go to school?
I get this question so many times.
I do too. And
emails, conventions. What school did you go to? Where did you learn to draw like this?
And I mean, I went to Sheridan for classical animation, which is it's a world-renowned school for classical animation, now computer animation, and illustration also. And I am really glad I did. I learned a lot. It was an amazing experience, just as a young person out there on my own. It was great to have that college experience. But the caveat there is I didn't have to pay the absurd amount of money that art schools charge here.
I went to community college. I had no
A lot of
interest.
people do go to community college. You can
It's
get
fun.
education. It's also a good experience. Um, so going, it's not so much that we discourage going to art school, because art school can be an amazing experience. And for especially animation and gaming, I mean, they will structure your schooling in a much more efficient way than you can yourself, because you're not the professional yet.
Mhm.
Uh, the sticking point for us is art school debt,
Yeah.
because it can get very unwieldy, very high. Uh, if you're the lucky people whose parents, for example, can pay, or a relative with lots of money who wants to support your creative dream, amazing, go do it. But a lot of people don't,
Yeah.
and student debt, I'm sure you've seen on the news, is
Mhm.
a lot of like it will cripple you for life, financially. And considering the fact that the art career can be so unstable and
Mhm.
so volatile, having also that debt, which, I mean, it's not just money you owe, it's also the interest that keeps accumulating and accumulating, making your debt balloon.
Mhm.
Um, Plus, there's unsavory practices, as I
Oh yeah.
understand,
The
of basically making your loans cost way more than they should for students.
yeah. And
So try to avoid it if you can. It's there's we're
my
listing a lot of again, nobody cares where you went to school. All they
yeah.
care about is, can you do the job?
My big thing whenever anybody asks me like, do where do I go to school, or do I have to go to school to do this thing, is I actually had a college professor, my illustration teacher, who just straight up told us one day, like, I don't even know why you guys are here. Everything I'm teaching you, you can learn on the internet. And I remember just sitting there like, can he say that? Is that legal? But
Probably had tenure, so
oh
they couldn't
yeah,
fire him.
I miss that
Union
old guy.
jobs.
He ran away to Canada.
Good for him.
Yeah, he loves it out there. I was just emailing one of them. Anyways,
Uh,
there's it got me thinking though, not everybody is meant for college. And I don't mean that as like, oh, this is an elite thing. You can't go to this school or whatever. Some people don't thrive in the college environment. I was one of those people. I was taking college classes, but I wasn't retaining or learning the information that I needed to learn. I was learning it through YouTube and just practicing and talking with other artists. And like halfway through my college career, I was already working on award winning books. I was coloring her books, but I was already getting jobs and stuff like that. Um, and nobody once asked me like where I went to school. Nobody cared.
Nobody cares. All they care about is the strength of your portfolio and can you
Yeah.
do the job. So the reason I have a side note there saying that it's different for animation and gaming is a more sustainable model of making a living while drawing art.
Hmm.
There's more money involved, like the salaries for, say, a storyboard artist or like a concept art developer,
Hmm.
um, a concept artist. They're pretty high. So if you can get hired, you could probably pay back the debt a lot faster than you
Yeah.
would if you say went into comics, which does not pay a lot. Um, so these are all things to consider very carefully.
Yeah.
Very carefully.
And definitely don't feel pressured into going to art school. Like some people say you have to go to this advanced college or whatever. You do not let them pressure you into that. If you have other options, feel free to explore those options. Do what works for you. All right, we good to go?
Yep. Next slide.
Boop.
Building your creative community is going to help you grow in so many ways. Don't just like sit there like a mouse like I did. Well, although I did join a creative community, a
Mm-hmm.
couple of them, and it was amazing. I am a hermit, so my experience was very limited with artist communities. but I know people who thrive in them.
I thrive for a very little amount of time, and then I need to go hide for like a week.
They are important because one thing that I had in college, and I wish everybody could have, was just a space with fellow artists where people are great in general, family are great, friends are great, but it's people who draw, who truly get what you're going through when you can't get a face right on a character.
They understand burnout and they understand creative struggle. So like my little community that I have, I live with artists and it is awesome. They notice whenever I'm getting burnt out or something, they'll check on me and they'll know like, oh, she's been working on this difficult thing for a while. Here, ice cream.
Yeah, with mental health becoming a bigger and more understood topic, thankfully, finally, it's important to take care of that. It is. Yeah, your physical can't function without the mental being in order. So you just build a supportive community, and they'll help you grow.
Yes,
you'll help them grow. They'll help you grow. And you'll be peers. Like a lot of these people will go on to jobs that, if they remember you fondly, it's like, oh, she draws really well, for such and such.
The majority of my closest and bestest friends I've met through conventions, and it's been awesome. And
conventions are once it's safe again.
Yeah,
once it's great people to places to meet kindred spirits. Like PortCon Maine.
I love that PortCon is like they had this whole safe thing set up for like, we're gonna do it in person, but it's gonna be super, super safe.
Yes.
So I appreciate that very much.
Also, we're vaccinated. Everybody should get vaccinated.
All the cool kids are getting vaccinated.
All the cool kids and people who care about others get vaccinated. That can't get vaccinated. Some people can't.
So even though conventions are not a thing right now, online spaces are big. And Twitter is a great place to find artistic communities. I love Twitter chats. I haven't done them in a while because I've been so busy, but the webcomic chat and Comic Artists Unite, you can find it through the hashtag, or those are the names of the profiles. I highly recommend them. Once a week, they post up prompts, and you can reply to those prompts, and everybody shares information, stories, artwork, and stuff like that. And it's a really great way to meet people and make those connections and talk over this prompt that's going through. It's usually like, this week we're going to tackle social media, and then it'll pose 5 questions like, what are your thoughts on social media? What's your favorite social media site? How do you tackle this one social media website? How do you think, what improvements do you think could be made to social media? And they encourage you to share work and just talk with each other. And I love those chats. It happens every Sunday.
Also, they can be a job hunting thing. There's a portfolio day, a hashtag on Twitter. I don't know how often it happens, but I see trending a lot. So that's a good, you put your portfolio up, and publishers and editors for, that have illustration needs, they absolutely check those. They absolutely find people there and sign them. So those are a great way to get your art out there to be seen.
Yeah. Creative communities, in person and online, there's things to look for in them that we should talk about, because I myself have met a lot of really amazing people. I've also met some very predatory people trying to get into creative spaces. So when you're looking for a creative community, you're going to want people who are supportive and encouraging and are going to push you in a direction that's going to help you as not just a professional, but also just as a person. Anybody that's going to be abusive to you or talk down about you and your work, drop them
hard.
I've wasted too much time with some people.
Again, mental health, very important.
Yeah.
If there's toxic people in your environment, get out.
It's not worth it.
No.
So yeah, anybody that gives you red flags or makes you feel uncomfortable, you're gonna want to be wary with them or just back off. It doesn't matter how good their portfolio is or how much of a loved creator they are. It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
And yeah, people who want to see you grow, those are who are going to help you and encourage you to like, no, you should totally contact that person. You both would probably like that might be another business connection or something. Send them that email.
You don't know until you ask.
Yeah, it took me 20 minutes to send you a message.
That being said, no hounding.
Yeah,
no harassing, no hounding. Those are not okay.
I was so nervous to send you an email when you get second. We're like, hey, but then she responded back, and now we're.
You were very like, I get emails that are just outright demands for my time. You were very nice and respectful of my time, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so don't be demanding. Just a nice little letter. That's the best way to do it. I love those.
That doesn't obligate the other person, because you don't know what they're going through. Like if your letter came during a time when, like, I've had a lot of family members in hospitals, and I don't post about that online. I'm pretty quiet about my private life, and sometimes email will come during a difficult time, and it doesn't matter how nice and polite they are, I just can't do it. Yeah. So
that being said,
you never know what the other person is going through.
Yeah, and vice versa. So you do not feel obligated to respond to every single email, especially if you have stuff going on.
Yeah, and and these are good life tips in general. Just don't be.
The internet has given us access to everybody, but it does not mean that you are allowed access to everybody, and not everybody is allowed access to you.
That's right. It's good. This cuts both ways.
So
yeah, it's good. Social hygiene for your life, and it's good social hygiene for your business relationships as well.
Yes. Anything else to add about creative communities?
I think that's pretty good. I think we're kind of running behind, so we should probably move to the next.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, there we go.
Oh, yeah. So, and there's a lot of demand for all different types of art out there. Before I became a comics artist, I partook in many different, like I did a brief stint in toy design. No one probably remembers. These are Mighty Beans, and I did the Fantastic Four illustration for the set of the Mighty Beans.
It is so weird seeing the Mighty Beans like.
Yeah, you played with them as a child, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was too old for them by the time I was working on these. But I did some concept art for the for another toy line that didn't happen, but it was fun to do. And also, like, just read the magazine illustration. I'm looking for it now. Yeah, like this. I did this cover for a fantasy magazine. Like, it was a fantasy role-playing magazine. Yeah, this was a cover, so that was really fun. Yeah, so there's a lot of just like, and again, having an agent would help you to know what opportunities are out there, because they've got their fingers on the pulse. But you could also just check online.
If you check Twitter and just type in like artists seeking whatever, you'll find hits. Like, people are constantly posting up like, hey, I'm looking for work, this is my portfolio, or hi, I'm in need of an artist. And
yeah, the key is having your art out there, and keeping an ear to the ground, and maintaining a healthy community. And then jobs will eventually find you.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
And if you have a strong enough community, they'll tell you like, oh, this person's looking for work, and I thought that you'd be a good fit for this project.
Help me.
Yes.
So there's graphic design, illustration. T-Fury is a fun one. They're creator-owned designs that they put on a T-shirt for a day. And my understanding is you retain all your rights. And get a cut of it. Like, they handle all the sales and all the promotion, and you retain the right for the design. Spot illustrations, writing for websites. That one's a bit tricky. I've never done it, so I can't really say. I do know rates can be very predatory, so be careful. Don't work for free. Do not work for free.
We have an entire slide about scams and working for free. So.
Yeah. Commissions for individual. Watch out for individuals who are scammers. Games illustration and concept art, very lucrative field if you can get in there.
Really popular right now because of the amount of role-playing games and stuff that are coming out.
Yeah, that's really coming up. So there's going to be more and more need for expansion packs,
The
and
amount of
trading cards.
the amount of people that I see posting in search of artists for the new upcoming role-playing game.
Role-playing character commissions.
That is my bread and butter. I love it when people commission me to draw their D&D characters, because then we start talking about our characters and like the crazy adventures they get in. And it's like the best bonding experience ever. I love it.
I did it for a while too before I did comics, and it is so fun illustrating people's characters. And so inking, coloring, and/or pencils for comics, books like children's books are a huge industry, and they constantly, because it has high turnover of new titles, they constantly need new illustrators. And textbooks, educational publishers pay really well.
Or even like city projects, because I used to work for a city in their what is it, the Parks and Recreation Department, dealing with the public. And I think that there would have been some great opportunities for them to have hired some artists for their information packets and like their different catalogs and stuff. So
they have limited budgets though, so it's government. They have very specific needs and very specific requirements for their budgets. But anyway, moving on to the comics and books. So I'm a middle grade author, and it's a growing space, and the big publishers, the big trade publishers have all started up like specific divisions dedicated to middle grade aimed graphic novels. So that's a field that's a category that's going to keep expanding. It barely scratched the surface of potential. So if you can stand the grind of drawing a graphic novel, it's not an easy job. Like many people just wash out because they can't take it. And if you can do it, I mean, that could be I think that's a field that will keep growing for another decade at least.
The amount of people who have just been like, oh, drawing a comic's easy, or like, hey, how come this book isn't out yet? It doesn't take that much time to do.
No, it's a lot of time, a lot of work. I've listed some of the JY for Kids is the imprint that publishes the work that I do. There's Scholastic Graphics. They publish Raina Telgemeier. Random House Kids, that's a new imprint that started last year, I think, right before the pandemic, actually. Yeah. First Second has been around for a while. They do a lot. So children's books, every major house will have a kids book division. So like that's look up a trade publisher and they'll have a kids division that you can submit your portfolio to. And then there's the illustration for video games too. Like there's a lot of indie games that need artists. So if you're into short project, well, a game is not a short project, but shortish.
Check, even if you don't go to college or anything, feel free to check colleges that have animation stuff, because I have some friends who they're done with college, but they've still worked with their local college or local colleges to them with their game design departments, and a lot of them do they don't do like the sprite games that a lot of people, they do like the dating sims games or like that kind of thing where it's a still picture and some things change. If you're an visual novel, visual novel. So yeah, so those are games that you can do where it does not include the caveat of having to know coding. You just have to draw the pictures. So even if you are just an illustrator, that is something that you can do, is look into doing visual novel games, because
visual novel games are so much fun.
But working with colleges and their clubs and stuff like that, you can get a lot of resources and you can meet up with these people and not have to deal with the college budget. The college costs. You can make friends that are already going to college.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just so many options. Again, if you become part of a creative community, you'll hear about all these things because people are doing all sorts of stuff, and you'll find out a branch of an industry you didn't know. Like I didn't know visual novels were a thing until like 5 years ago. I went 15 years to my career without knowing that was a thing. And yeah, you'll learn things that you absolutely did not know. So yeah, magazine, online illustrations, like we can't even list all the stuff that needs art. Please name. Next slide.
I do.
There's also alternative ways to subsidize your, I drew a thing, pay me income type of income. Let's see, you and I.
So I use Patreon, and actually my roommate is way better at Patreon than I am because well, he draws adult oriented comics. But one of the things that I do with my Patreon is I have a mail club, and so people can join my Patreon for $10 a month, and I will send them that month's print and sticker, and they get fresh artwork every month. It's signed. I usually throw in an extra gift or two. Like this month, my printer actually sent me twice the amount of stickers that I had ordered. So all my patrons got 2 stickers instead of 1. So I was like, here, share the love.
Here's where I would force you to mention how much work that takes. Don't.
I am in charge of making the artwork. Yeah. I print it. I package
discourage
everything.
Offering physical rewards for Patreon.
I personally love it. I get such a rush, like putting the envelopes together.
Please warn our viewers about the amount of work it takes.
It is a lot of work. I don't have like thousands of Patreon members.
She draws a new illustration every month.
It doesn't take me that long.
She's very fast. If you're not fast, don't do it.
Yeah, don't stretch yourself thin. I do this, and I try to get the illustration done a month ahead. So by the time the new month rolls around, I already have the prints and everything.
Also schedule. If you're a last minute person like me, you will.
I am very
disappoint so many people.
I am very deadline oriented, so I have goals, I have deadlines, I have things to
do.
But my other roommate, I convinced him to do a mail club, and
he's gonna do it.
Oh, he's been doing it for, he was like, oh, I'm gonna get maybe like half a dozen people or something. I told him if he got 50, I was gonna laugh in his face. He's up to like 55, I think. So I've already just started laughing at him. I help him pack all of his stuff up.
Yeah.
But
so Patreons can be. So Patreon is. It comes from the word patron, and the whole idea behind it is that there's people who believe in your art and would like to support you as an artist. Yeah. Coffee is the same thing. Buy me a coffee. Those are all monthly.
PayPal too. So what's happened recently is it used to be Patreon was the only one with a subscription system where you can pay monthly for access to artwork and files and stuff like that. But recently, other things like Ko-fi and Buy Me a Coffee, that used to just be a tipping thing where you can just give $3 or $1 and just leave it at that. But now they've rolled out their own system just like Patreon, where you can subscribe to this person for like a month or more, and you can get access to artwork. It wasn't like that before, but now there are so many alternatives to Patreon. And even PayPal has been doing something like that, where
Twitter is trying to institute a tipping system also, and some sort of subscription. Yeah, they're beta testing something similar right now. Anyway,
there's a lot of options.
It's been a very successful model for a lot of artists like your roommate, and it could be a living.
Yeah.
Check it out. Also, if you have a project, you're almost finished. Never fund a project that is not finished or like close to being finished, because you will ruin your life.
There's been horror stories of people not fulfilling Kickstarters and Indiegogos,
and not like they're not evil, they're not scammers. They just honestly thought they could finish, and they didn't. And that's a thing that happens to people. We overestimate our capabilities. So Kickstarter, a good way to try to finance a project that's almost finished, to get funding to print it, put it in production. Indiegogo is for people in Canada, because I think Kickstarter is not, or is that not a thing anymore?
Oh, that's changed. Kickstarter is all around the world.
Oh, great. Okay.
The thing about Indiegogo is Kickstarter is...
Oh, that's right. You have to hit the sum, all or nothing.
All or nothing. Indiegogo has the option where you can do all or nothing, or you can, when the campaign
whatever
ends,
you get.
Whatever you get. Yeah. The problem with that is if you do not make your goal on Indiegogo and you have it set, you still have to. So even if you have like a $10,000 campaign and you only made $500, you need to get that other $9,500 to fulfill your project.
Yeah.
Yep.
So better be ready to fulfill it anyway.
Or so you can do refunds.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can do refunds, but there's usually a fee, so it might be
Yeah.
costing you money.
Yeah, so be careful with that.
Yeah.
Ways to sell your art, online stores like Redbubble, Etsy, Imprint. Gumroad is for digital deliverables, so you can have a lot of artists do tutorials or like printables for bullet journaling.
I buy a lot of Procreate brushes on Gumroad.
Procreate, there's just everything. It's for digital deliverables, a good way to sell that stuff.
Yeah.
Conventions, festivals like PortCon.
I love them. I miss them so much.
Yeah. Art shows they can be good if you're an established artist that is known or like have artwork that just snatches people's eyeballs out of their head.
The problem with art shows and like art galleries is a lot
they cost money to join too.
They do cost money to join. Sometimes you can put a higher price tag on the artwork, but just the I started off as a fine artist.
You can price your artwork at whatever you want. Will you sell it? Is the big question. And a lot of times the selling point would be how well known is an artist, or if a piece happens to personally resonate with whatever person was passing by. Yeah, and
art shows are a lot more trickier to navigate than getting a table at a convention.
Yeah, a table at a convention is probably a better start. But they are out there, and if you want to spend the money, you have to bring your stuff and pay for the fee and get it there and then take it down. And
you can share your table at a lot of those shows, so you don't have to do it alone.
That's right. And collaborations, I've been informed back in my day, zines did not pay money, but apparently now they do.
Some of them do. It depends on the project. And
okay, in my experience, zines do not pay money.
So some of them do.
Some do for the money.
It's not a whole lot of money, but some of them will pay like $50 for an illustration or $500 for a 24-page comic. Okay. But it really depends on the budget of it. Or sometimes they'll say like, hey, we're going to do this zine. You're not going to get paid right now, but we're going to do a Kickstarter. So that has had some success. I personally don't contribute to zines of that nature, but I have some friends that have done it, and they've made a good chunk of change. So it is out there. It does exist. And the same thing with anthologies. The anthologies are a little bit more, well, you have experience with the anthologies.
Yes, but they're notoriously hard to sell.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, those, I participate a lot in this. I love group projects. I love being in anthologies. I don't have the time right now, but if I did, I would be every anthology out there because it's that group, it's that community spirit that I miss. And it's there was one anthology that we made with friends. I mean, we did a limited. Oh, actually, do I have it here? Oh, I do. Yay. I did this with friends. And our theme was ponies. Like that was. Is that the?
That's the camera.
Yeah. So and this one has. Yuko Ota in it, and my friend, who's now an animation director, Liesel Adams. And
Pony Rock.
Pony Rock, that's right. And we just, I mean, we hand bound this the night before the con. And it was the funnest thing I have ever done in my life. So zines and anthologies are a good bonding experience. And sometimes they pay.
I love making zines. Actually, your Sherlock Holmes zine that you did.
Sherlock Holmes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
I also did that.
It inspired me for my last sketchbook zine that I put together. I liked how you set up the pages, so I did the same thing, but with
I don't think so.
I know Patrick has it because I sent to him.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
But it's a lot of fun. My roommates and I just sat and they helped me fold and attach all my zines together, and we got like 50 of them done before a convention, and I love them. I mean, we're actually working on a bunch of little zines right now because it's just a fun little thing to do, and it's a lot cheaper than getting a full book printed.
It is. It's true. Having a zine. Yeah. Anyway, it often doesn't pay, but I still recommend it.
Yes.
Okay, how many slides do we have left?
I like 3. We're good.
Oh, good. Okay.
Scams
awesome.
to watch out for, because people will try to get you to work for free. Don't do it.
A lot of times, and like sometimes there's exceptions to the rule because some things like
Zines,
are
some
just
charity
so
work.
it's like you feed the soul, you
Mhm.
know. So there is true benefit. The stuff we're talking about is people who can afford to pay but don't want to, and this happens time and again with sometimes like as an author, I would do school visits, and like that's something that is budgeted for.
Mhm.
And a lot of times I'll get requests from schools I know paid other authors,
Mhm.
and they'll be like, "Oh, can you come in and do this? We can't really pay." And like I know you can pay, you just don't want to pay for me. And that's when you do stuff for free. Oh, another problem is like big corporations that will start we're having a contest, you know, draw us a character rendition for the chance to have it included in our, so they get
Hot Topic was really guilty of that like
yeah,
10 years ago.
they get free promotion out of it because everyone's going to submit, and they don't pay any money, and like
but they're going to make a ton of money off of that work that you submitted for free.
Yeah, so there's that's something to consider when you see contests from large companies, because sometimes
they say you'll get exposure, but half the time they don't credit.
They don't credit, and it's not much. I mean, also people have died from exposure, as the old saying goes.
I like that. I'm stealing that. Like Hot Topic stole a lot of artwork.
Yeah. So it's something to be really careful of. The best way to be a commercial artist is to do art that you get paid for. There's also and like it's not a scam. People truly believe that we're going to draw this comic book, we're going to get movie deals, we're going to get merchandise made, and they truly believe that. So they're trying to get people on board, like help us do this, and we're going to make all the money together. So much with back end. They truly believe this. It's a very skewed perception of reality, and the reality is a lot of these projects a lot of times don't even get printed because it's expensive to print and distribute, and to get anything sold to Hollywood is basically a crapshoot. So
I did a
try to
children's
get
book.
paid. Yeah, you did a children's book.
I did a children's book for somebody who refused to talk to me about getting paid, and once the book was completely done, I did all the work. I gave them the bill, and they were not happy that I gave them the bill because they thought I was doing it for free.
Yeah, that's always discuss your terms beforehand.
Yeah,
and put them in writing in some sort of agreement. Contracts should be looked over by a lawyer. Agreements ideally, but lawyers cost money, so you can find some stuff online.
Speaking of things costing money.
Well, let's finish the scams. One scam I keep getting is they don't even mention me by name, but they email my address and say, oh, you know, 10 days left to snag an exclusive spot in our European Parisian exhibit.
Oh, you can't turn that down. That's Europe.
Yeah, they usually charge money. They want money as an entry fee. And there's lots of variants of these scams. So watch out. Anybody who wants money from you.
A Nigerian prince wants to give you all of his money, but you have to give your routing number first.
I didn't get the item. Can you ship it again? That's for somebody who is shipping stuff from Etsy. Some are legit. Some really didn't get try to get tracking whenever you send something to someone.
Make sure you keep records of all of your stuff sent. Get tracking numbers, because another issue that I see with a lot of Etsy sellers is they will send stuff, and then once the people get the item, they will do a back charge so that they basically got a free item, and then you get dinged because Etsy charges you for the fees. So make sure you keep like track of everything that you sent out, keep tracking numbers of the shipment, in case something like that happens, because most of the time, cover your butt. Most of those people are going, or most of those companies are going to take the side of the customer, because the customer is always right. If you've worked retail, you know that is not true.
Yeah, it's something to keep it, like a lot of customers will be good and conscientious and great. And there will always be that one person who will be strange about things.
Those people happen. It's not as
It's
commonplace. It's not as commonplace. Like I've had way more good customers than bad customers, but it's important to have your eye out for the bad customers.
Yeah.
Okay, we got like 2 slides left, so we're good. Financials.
Because life costs money.
Yeah.
This is something that I really wish was taught in high schools and was taught to me when I went for my art schooling at Sheridan. Just because when you are a freelance operator, not just an artist, like any freelancer, you have to do a lot of stuff that a 9 to 5 work system will do for you, because they have accounting people working on that specifically.
They have entire departments.
If you separate from that system, you are your accounting. So
you need to put money aside for taxes and fees. 30% is a pretty safe number, but feel free to put more just to be extra safe. And if you make over a certain amount, you have to pay taxes 4 times a year versus 1 time a year.
Otherwise, they hit you with penalties.
Womp. Start for retirement and save. You're gonna want to have emergency funds for like everything, including rent, electricity, internet. You're gonna want to have at least like 2 months. 4 to 6 is better.
Basically, what you do is, ideally, you already have a budget, so you know how much is coming out of your pocket every month. Take that monthly number and double it. If you can, triple it, quadruple, because the emergency fund is not just, oh, I'm out of work and I need to pay for, my rent, food, medication, whatever. It's also my car broke down, because that's going to come out of there too.
You slipped and fell in the parking lot picking up eggs, and now all your eggs are broken, and so is your elbow.
Yeah, it's just stuff costs money. Make sure you have an emergency fund.
If you can, start an account for your business stuff, because it will help greatly with keeping your business finances and your personal finances.
It's not necessary. I don't maintain one. I used to, and in the end, was just too much trouble. But for people who like 1 or 2 things, like Melissa, it is helpful because it keeps those parts of your life separate, and you know what is.
And I know, like, I have the one account for, I need to pay for these permits and things for my business. That comes from this account. I need to pay for groceries. That comes from the personal account. And it makes it a lot easier for just keeping track and separate of your business stuff versus your personal stuff. Because if you have to do an audit also for some reason, the IRS is going to look very carefully at where you are spending and like getting your money from.
That's right. Yep.
So, and if you're making off of your artwork, you are legally.
They do have a fee, unless you, if you keep over a certain amount of money in a business account, it's free.
It's usually like $25. So as long as you don't spend like over the $25 limit thing.
It depends on the bank.
It depends on the bank. Shop around, because banks, if you tell them you're shopping around other places, sometimes they will work with you a little bit more. Play the system. Don't just settle. So if you're making money off of your artwork, you're legally required to report your earnings in the form of taxes. It happens once a year, and everybody freaks out about it, including those of us who are usually pretty prepared.
We have 4 minutes left.
So businesses have their own requirements. So if you are working from home, so your city might need you to have an at-home occupancy permit. That's something that you have to get and maintain. A lot of this stuff some people do under the table, but if you're caught, so file tax permits early to avoid any penalties. We have like
be legit.
Be legit.
We promote legitimacy.
Yes.
In businesses. And
cover your butt.
All of this information can be found in our list of resources.
Yes. So I have 3 books that I highly recommend that you get. This is Business and Legal Forms for graphic designers. It also works for illustrators and like everybody else. And it is just blank contracts, and it comes with a helpful CD-ROM. So you can use these, you can print them out and edit them to what you need. 1010 would recommend. This is my Bibli, my freelancer's Bibli. also known as the Bible, but Biblie's more fun to say.
Yeah, this one is she showed me her copy, and I'm like, I need a copy of this, so I got my own.
It has everything.
It has everything. There's a section on taxes. There's a section on how to handle a client, and how to look for jobs, how to set up your accounting. Just everything you need as a freelancer is in here. Cannot recommend it enough.
Also, the Freelancers Bible was created by Sarah Horowitz, who also created the Freelancers Union. So this is a union that you can actually join that is specific for freelancers. And that's not just like hairstylist freelancers or whatever. Anybody that does freelance, like if you're an artist, you can
time for questions.
Yes. Webcomic Handbook, another one that has everything you need specifically for webcomics and comic creators. Highly recommend. All these books, I use these. That's why I have them.
Do we have questions, or
does anybody have any questions? We have like 2 minutes.
2 minutes left. There's so much to know.
There's a lot.
So much to know.
Says I think we're good.
Right.
General tips: try stuff. If it doesn't work, move on to something else.
Yeah, that's what I did early in my career. I just tried different avenues of making money with my art. Toy design was one of them. The illustration for different magazines was really fun, and for books. I eventually settled on comics, but this was after trying a lot of things. I tried animation. I enjoyed all of them, but comics turned out where my heart was. So now I do comics full time.
I get really bored of doing just one thing for so long, so I do a lot. I make my own stories. I also do character design and illustration. Sometimes I'll do graphic design work for like convention forms and things like that. Dungeons and Dragons. Some people want me to make forms and like little things for their games and stuff. I color comic books sometimes. I wear a lot of hats because you never know when one revenue stream is going to dry up, so you need to be fluid to move between all the different kinds of
diversify your stream.
Yes.
Streams.
Yes, diversify.
So yeah, picking a lane and building there is also a good idea once you know what you like, just because that is how you build a presence. The problem with being a jack of all trades is nobody knows you enough in a branch. So if you pick a branch and build there, you'll be more of a recognizable entity for hiring purposes, for just like, oh yeah, I remember he does, like she's known for that. If you want to be known for that, pick a lane and build there.
I say I'm a comic book artist, but I also have a variety of other skills that could be useful for a project. And then that gets people to ask, oh, what else can you do? And then I give them a laundry list. And
yeah, that's usually they're looking for a specific, like, can you do what I need? Is whenever, because employers don't have a lot of time to be like, oh, what else can you do? They're like, I need this done. Okay, let me do it. Oh, this person does specifically what I want, so they get that person. Yeah, which is hard to guess.
What else do you do? What else do you want me to do?
Yeah. And yeah, make sure it's something. Oh, is it?
We have done an hour worth of panel. This is a lot of information, and we are trying to condense it down into an hour. Like each one of these sections could easily be an hour panel in itself. Yes. So I think we did good.
All right. We hope you found it helpful. We tried really hard.
You can find me online at Art by Melissa M, artbymelissam.com. That's my website, artbymelissam@gmail.com. If you want to send me any questions, I am an open book, and I have a lot of links that I can send you and references. So,
unlike me, I'm not online. I have accounts, but I never update them. I'm a hermit. But you can write me, and if it comes in a good day, I will respond.
Okay.
Okay. So, thank you very much for coming.
Enjoy the con, online things. Bye.
Bye.